Have you ever wondered how the juicy berries, crisp apples, and other delicious fruits you enjoy got from a farm to your table? From carefully preparing the soil to using high-tech tools to knowing exactly when to pick, it is all well calculated. And to know this all, well, you have to stay tuned till the end. Soil prep and sowing. From tiny seeds to succulent delights on our plates, a fruit's journey starts long before it sprouts its first leaf. It all begins with getting the soil just right, a mix of science and tradition, creating the perfect bed for fruit trees and bushes to grow. Think of tilling as the first big step. It's like fluffing up a pillow, but for the soil. This might seem simple, but it's super important. Tilling helps the roots grow strong and reach deep down for water and food. It also gives the soil some breathing room and helps it drain water properly. When we till, we're basically making sure the soil is cozy enough for plants to thrive. Now, there are different ways to till depending on how much land we're working with and what kind of fruit we're growing. Big farms might use heavy-duty tractors with special tools to get the job done fast. But smaller farms, especially the ones that prefer natural methods, might go for simpler tools like tillers or broad forks. No matter the tool, the depth we till is super important. We don't want to overdo it and mess up the soil structure, or underdo it and drown the roots in water. Before giving the soil a boost, farmers need to speak its language. They do this by running a soil checkup called a soil analysis. This test tells them what the soil is made of chemically. It's like peeking into the soil's recipe book to see what's missing or too much. In this recipe, nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium are the main ingredients. Nitrogen helps plants grow leaves and fruits. Phosphorus is like the architect, building strong roots and fruits. And potassium, it's the bodyguard, protecting plants from sickness and making fruits top-notch. Once farmers know what's lacking, they become soil doctors. They use special stuff called amendments to fix any problems and make the soil just right for fruit plants. Organic amendments like compost, think of it as soil food made from old plants, and manure are popular choices. Compost is like a superfood for the soil, full of nutrients and good bacteria. It makes the soil comfy for roots and helps it keep water. Manure, which is animal poop, also adds nutrients and helps the soil stay healthy. But farmers need to be careful and use composted manure, not fresh poop, because fresh poop can bring in bad stuff like germs and weed seeds. How much and what kind of amendments they use depends on what the soil checkup says and what kind of fruit plants they're growing. Sometimes they might need to use other stuff called inorganic fertilizers to fix specific problems, but usually they stick to organic stuff to keep the soil healthy for a long time. Now that the soil is all set, it's time to plant the seeds of hope. There are two main ways to do this: direct seeding and grafting. Direct seeding is like putting seeds straight into the soil. Big farms might use fancy machines to do this job, but smaller ones usually do it by hand. The key is to plant the seeds at just the right depth and space them out properly. If they're too shallow, they might not grow well, and if they're too deep, they'll struggle to poke through the soil. Spacing is important too. If plants are too close together, they'll fight for sunlight, water, and food, which means they won't grow as big or produce as much fruit. But for some special fruits, like certain kinds of citrus, farmers use a different trick called grafting. This is like giving a plant a new superhero power. They take a tiny piece of a really good fruit tree and stick it onto the roots of a different tree. This way, they get all the good stuff from the original tree, like tasty fruit or strong disease resistance, but with the benefits of the new roots. Cover crops like legumes or ryegrass can be planted between fruit rows to keep weeds at bay, stop soil from washing away, and add extra nutrients. Once these crops have done their job, they're mixed back into the soil to give it a boost. Farmers are also cutting back on how much they till the soil. Instead of turning it over a lot, they're trying out methods like no-till or strip tillage. These techniques disturb the soil less, keeping it healthy and happy. And to maintain your happiness, we are trying harder, so make sure you subscribe to our channel. Technology is lending a hand too. Soil sensors and fancy maps help farmers figure out exactly what each part of their orchard needs. This means they can use just the right amount of stuff like compost or fertilizer, saving resources and keeping the environment happy. And soil prep isn't a one-time deal. Fruit trees stick around for years, so farmers need to plan for the long haul. They might switch up what they plant in a spot over time to keep the soil healthy and full of nutrients. Different fruits have different tastes in soil too. Peaches, plums, and cherries like sandy soil that drains well, while citrus trees prefer slightly acidic soil. And berries, like raspberries and blueberries, they thrive in soil that's a bit acidic and full of organic goodies like composted manure or peat moss. Now, watering. Water is like the magic potion that keeps fruit trees and bushes alive and thriving, but just giving them a sip isn't enough. First up is drip irrigation, the superhero of water-saving techniques. Instead of showering the whole orchard like a sprinkler, drip irrigation delivers water straight to the roots through tiny tubes and emitters. It's like giving each plant its own personal water supply. This way, there's less water lost to evaporation or running off into the sunset. Drip irrigation also encourages roots to reach deep down for water, making them stronger and better at sucking up nutrients. Plus, farmers can control how much water each plant gets and when, depending on the weather and the stage of fruit growing magic. It's like giving the plants just the right amount of water exactly when they need it. But drip irrigation isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Setting it up can cost a pretty penny, and the tubes and emitters need regular checkups to keep them from getting clogged. Still, for fruit farmers looking to save water and grow top-notch fruits, drip irrigation is the way to go. Another way farmers water their fruit babies is through sprinklers. These systems spray water over the whole area, kind of like a refreshing rain shower. While they're not as precise as drip irrigation, they're great for covering larger areas quickly. However, they can waste water if the wind blows it away or if it evaporates before reaching the roots. Last but not least, there's flood irrigation. This method floods the entire orchard with water, soaking the soil and giving the roots a big gulp. It's simple and cheap, but it can lead to water waste and uneven water if not done carefully. Sprinkler systems are great for smaller farms or places with trees scattered about. They're easy to set up and don't cost as much as fancier irrigation systems. Plus, they're handy for keeping crops cool and clean. Sprinklers can be a bit wasteful. Some of the water they spray disappears into thin air before it even hits the ground. And in dry places, this can be a big problem. Plus, they can make weeds pop up between the trees, which means more work for the farmers to keep them in check. Micro irrigation is like combining the best bits of drip irrigation and sprinklers. With micro irrigation, tiny tubes and emitters deliver water right where the plants need it, but with micro sprinklers sprinkled in for a bit of extra coverage. This way, water goes exactly where it's needed, minimizing waste and making sure every plant gets its fair share. And because it covers more ground than drip irrigation, it's not as pricey to set up. Of course, there are a few things to keep in mind. Like drip irrigation, micro irrigation can cost more up front than plain old sprinklers. And farmers need to be careful where they place those micro sprinklers to make sure every part of the orchard gets enough water without drowning any plants. Now, when it comes to watering fruit crops, there's no one-size-fits-all solution. Choosing the right irrigation method is like picking the perfect outfit. It depends on a bunch of factors. First off, think about the weather. In hot, dry places, drip irrigation is like a superhero, saving water and keeping plants happy. But in cooler, wetter spots, sprinklers might do the trick just fine. Next up, consider the soil. Sandy soil drinks up water fast, so drip irrigation helps keep it hydrated without wasting a drop. But clay soil holds onto water like a sponge, so sprinklers might work okay. And let's not forget about the fruit itself. Different fruits have different thirst levels. Young trees need more water than older ones, and fruits with shallow roots like strawberries love getting watered right at their feet with drip irrigation. Then there's the land itself. If it's hilly or bumpy, drip irrigation wins again since it delivers water straight to the roots without any of that pesky runoff. Of course, money matters too. Drip irrigation might save water in the long run, but it can cost a pretty penny to set up. Sprinklers are cheaper up front, but they can be a bit wasteful. Micro irrigation tries to find a balance, but farmers need to crunch the numbers to see if it's worth it. But hey, we're living in the age of tech, right? And that goes for watering crops too. Fancy gadgets like soil moisture sensors and weather stations help farmers water smarter, not harder. These gizmos keep an eye on things like how wet the soil is and what the weather's up to, so farmers know exactly when and how much to water. And get this, some irrigation systems are so high-tech, farmers can control them with their phones or computers. They can tweak the watering schedule from anywhere, whether they're out in the fields or chilling at home. So when it comes to watering fruit crops, it's all about finding that perfect match between what the plants need and what the land can give, with a little help from some nifty tech along the way. Looking ahead, saving water is a top priority for growing fruit sustainably. First up is wastewater recycling. Instead of letting treated wastewater from cities go to waste, we can use it to water orchards. Now, this cuts down on the need for fresh water, but it is important to make sure the recycled water is clean and safe. Then, there's breeding tougher fruits. Scientists are working on creating fruits that can handle dry spells, like champs. They're tinkering with the genes of fruit trees to make them thirstier for less water, and they're also growing new rootstocks that are superstars sucking up moisture from the ground. And let's not forget about mulching. This simple trick involves spreading stuff like straw or wood chips around fruit trees. It helps keep the soil nice and moist, kicks out pesky weeds, and stops water from slipping away into thin air. So now let's move on to harvesting. When it's time to harvest fruits, it's like the grand finale of a year-long adventure for fruit growers. There's excitement in the air as they carefully pick each fruit with precision and care. But harvesting isn't just about grabbing ripe fruits. It is an art form that blends timing, skill, and a little tech magic to make sure those fruits land on our plates bursting with flavor. For delicate fruits like berries, cherries, and peaches, human hands are still the best tools for the job. Skilled harvest crews carefully pluck each fruit at just the right moment, making sure they're perfectly ripe and ready to eat. It's all about choosing fruits that look just right. Think vibrant reds, yellows, or purples, and feel just right too. A gentle squeeze tells a story. Too soft means overripe, while too hard means not quite there yet. But it's not just about looks and feel. Taste matters too. Some fruits, like grapes, are picked based on their sugar levels. Harvesters use fancy gadgets called refractometers to measure the sweetness and acidity, ensuring every bite is perfectly balanced and oh so delicious. Sure, handpicking takes time and muscle power, especially on big farms. And when fruits ripen at different times, it can feel like the job is never ending. But the payoff is worth it. Handpicking minimizes damage to the fruits, keeps their quality top-notch, and lets farmers spot and toss out any funky-looking fruits before they hit the shelves. When it comes to tougher fruits like apples, cranberries, and certain types of citrus, machines step onto the stage to help with the harvest. These mechanical marvels work wonders, speeding up the process in ways that would make your head spin. Picture giant claws, gently shaking tree trunks or vine supports, causing ripe fruits to rain down onto nets or conveyors below. They need to shake hard enough to loosen the fruits, but gentle enough to keep the trees, branches, and fruits themselves intact. Thanks to fancy tech, they can now adjust their shaking intensity based on how ripe the fruits are and what kind of tree they're shaking. Now, mechanical harvesting is a game changer when it comes to speed and saving on labor, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. See, when fruits are tumbling down, they can get a bit bruised up, especially if they're on the delicate side, like some apple varieties. So to keep them looking pretty, catching surfaces are padded and conveyor belts are designed to cradle them gently as they make their way to the sorting line. But wait, there's more. Technology is joining the party too, helping farmers nail down the perfect harvest time with pinpoint accuracy. Meanwhile, sensors are sniffing out clues about their sweetness and firmness. When they put their heads together, they can tell farmers the exact moment when a fruit is at its peak ripeness. And here's where things get really cool. Armed with this high-tech info, farmers can schedule their harvest with surgical precision. No more picking fruits that are too green or too squashy. Instead, they can target specific parts of the orchard or even individual trees, making sure every fruit is picked at its prime. So, whether it's mechanical marvels shaking fruits loose or high-tech sensors scanning for ripeness, the future of fruit harvesting is all about working smarter, not harder. And with these innovations on their side, farmers can bring us the juiciest, tastiest fruit straight from the orchard to our tables. First off, different fruits have different needs. Berries need to be treated like delicate little gems, while apples are a bit tougher and can handle a bit more roughhousing. Then there's the weather. Mother Nature likes to throw curveballs like sudden temperature drops or surprise rain showers that can mess with fruit ripening. So growers have to keep an eye on the forecast and adjust their harvest plans accordingly. And let's not forget about what the market wants. Sometimes fruits, like avocados, get picked before they're fully ripe so that they can finish ripening on their way to the store. And if fruits are going into long-term storage, they're picked a bit early to make sure they last through the journey. But wait, the story doesn't end when the fruits are plucked from the trees. Nope, there's a whole other chapter about what happens after the harvest. Farmers have to make sure those fruits stay fresh and tasty all the way to your fruit bowl, and that means cooling them down, sorting them out, packing them up real nice, and making sure they're stored just right during their trip from farm to store. So now, let's talk about the future. With more and more folks craving fresh fruits, there's a push for new and better ways to harvest them. Imagine robots zipping through orchards, picking fruits with the precision of a human hand, but at the speed of lightning. It's not just a dream, it's really happening. And we're not stopping there. We're all about being green, so farmers are getting creative. They're using smart techniques to only pick the ripest fruits, leaving the rest to ripen on the trees. And those fruits that don't quite make the cut, well, they're finding new homes in juices and jams instead of ending up in the trash. Oh, and let's not forget about what you want. More and more folks are looking for locally sourced and organic fruits. So, smaller farms are focusing on gentle harvesting techniques that are easy on the environment. But wait, there's still more. Once the fruits are harvested, they go through all sorts of special treatments to make sure they're top-notch when they finally hit your plate. Alright, now let's talk about deshelling. Tree nuts like almonds, walnuts, and pecans wear a double layer of armor, the outer hull and the inner shell. These robust coverings protect the delicate nut meat inside, but require removal before consumption. Deshelling is the process of separating the nut meat from its shells, typically done in specialized facilities equipped with powerful machinery. The deshelling process often involves multiple stages. First, the nuts may undergo drying to reduce moisture content and make them more brittle. Next, mechanical crackers come into play. These machines utilize various methods such as impact, pressure, or rollers to crack the outer hull without damaging the valuable nut meat within. Once the outer hull is broken, the nuts may undergo a winnowing process to separate the shells from the nut meat. This can involve using air currents to blow away the lighter shells while the heavier nut meat remains behind. Finally, a sorting process removes any remaining fragments of shell and ensures uniform size and quality of the deshelled nuts. Now, blanching. Blanching is like a superhero for fruits, destined for processing or freezing. It's a clever technique where fruit pieces take a quick dip in boiling water and then cool off in ice water. This simple process packs a punch, offering some fantastic benefits. First up, it's all about enzyme inactivation. You see, fruits have these natural enzymes that speed up spoilage, but blanching hits the brakes on them. By slowing down the ripening process, it gives fruits a longer shelf life, so they stay fresh and tasty for longer after being processed or frozen. Next on the list is color preservation. Have you ever cut into an apple or a peach and watched it turn brown? That's because of enzymes reacting to the air, but blanching puts a stop to that. It keeps fruits looking bright and colorful, just like they were when they were freshly picked. But wait, we've got more. Blanching also works wonders for texture. Nobody likes mushy fruit, right? Well, blanching helps with that too. It gives fruits a little texture makeover, making them easier to handle when they're being processed or frozen. Leave your fruits in the hot water for too long and they'll turn into a mush. And that's definitely not what we want. So getting the timing just right is crucial. It all depends on the type of fruit you're dealing with and what you're planning to do with it. Drop-off facilities. Once fruits are harvested, they begin a new journey at special drop-off spots. These places are like important pit stops between farms and the places where fruits end up in our hands. Now at these drop-off spots, something interesting happens, and that's sorting. Trained folks carefully check each fruit, making sure they're free from any bruises, spots, or diseases. If a fruit doesn't pass the freshness test, it gets sent off to be used for things like making juice or jam. This way, only the best fruits continue on to the next part of their adventure, our grocery stores, and eventually our tables. Now let's talk about pre-cooling. Fruits are living things and they keep ripening even after they're picked. And that's great until we want them to stay fresh for us to eat. So drop-off spots use a clever trick called pre-cooling. It's like hitting the pause button on ripening. They pop the fruits into special cold rooms that quickly chill them down. And this slows down their natural ripening process, keeping them fresh for longer. The temperature has to be just right, usually between 32 degrees to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 0 degrees to 10 degrees Celsius, depending on the type of fruit. So here comes the logistics part. Once the fruits are sorted and chilled, it's time to figure out how they'll get to where they need to go. And this is where the logistics dance all begins. Fruits are sorted based on where they're headed and how long it'll take to get there. Shorter trips might use refrigerated trucks, while longer journeys might involve a mix of truck and airplane rides. Sometimes fruits are even picked a bit early to allow for ripening during travel. And during the trip, the temperature and humidity in the transport containers are carefully controlled to keep the fruits happy and fresh. Now, specialized processing. So let's peel back the curtain, see what I did there, and explore the fascinating world of fruit processing techniques. Think of it as a toolkit filled with tricks to make fruits look better, last longer, and taste amazing. First up, we've got washing and waxing. Just like we give our fruits a good scrub before eating them, processing plants do the same, using high-pressure sprays or water baths with special sanitizing solutions to get rid of any dirt or yucky stuff. For some fruits, like apples, they even give them a shiny coat of edible wax after washing. It's not just for looks. That wax helps keep moisture in, stops them from going bad too quickly, and makes them look extra appealing on the shelf. Next on the list is ripening control. Did you know that ethylene gas is like the conductor of the ripening orchestra? Some places use fancy controlled atmosphere storage to manage how much ethylene fruit gets exposed to. This way they can slow down or speed up the ripening process, so fruits arrive at the store tasting just right. Now let's talk about minimal processing. With everyone on the go these days, there's a big demand for pre-cut fruits and veggies. These processing plants slice and dice fruits in a super clean environment so they stay fresh and don't turn brown too quickly. It's all about making healthy snacking easy and convenient. Ever wonder how all those fruits end up looking so perfect in the grocery store? Well, it's thanks to sorting by size and color. Fancy cameras and computers team up to sort fruits based on how big they are and what color they are. This way, every grocery store gets a batch of fruits that look just right, no matter what size or color you prefer. But wait, there's more. Think about all those dried fruits you love munching on, whether it's raisins, cranberries, or even apricots. They all go through a drying or dehydration process to get rid of moisture and make them last longer. Some are dried in the sun, some in ovens, and some in super fancy freeze-drying machines that keep all the flavor and nutrients locked in. Lastly, let's not forget about juicing and processing. Not every fruit makes the cut for looking perfect in the store, but that doesn't mean they go to waste. They're often sent off to be juiced or turned into jams and jelly so we can enjoy their delicious flavors in different ways. It's all about making the most out of every fruit and reducing waste. Innovation and sustainability. So, the future of fruit processing is all about moving forward with smart ideas and sustainability in mind. So let's, again, peel back the layers and see what's cooking. First off, there's a big push to cut down on waste. Nobody likes seeing good fruit go to waste just because it's not perfect. So, clever sorting and processing techniques are stepping in to give those less than perfect fruits a new purpose. Instead of tossing them out, they're getting juiced up, or they're getting turned into other yummy products. Next up, we've got some cool new tech on the block we want to tell you about. High pressure processing, it's also known as HPP for short. It's like the superhero of fruit processing, using super intense water pressure to zap away any bad stuff without messing with the fruit's texture or taste. And this is a game changer for keeping our fruit safe and delicious. You know all that plastic wrapping we see around processed fruits? Well, there's a move towards using packaging that's kinder to the planet. Think biodegradable or compostable materials that break down naturally instead of sticking around for hundreds of years like plastic does. It's all about reducing our environmental footprint and keeping our planet healthy. Last but not least, transparency is in. People want to know where their fruit comes from and how it gets to their plate. That's where blockchain technology comes in. It's like a digital fingerprint that can track fruits from the farm to the store, giving us the inside scoop on their journey. With greater transparency and traceability, we can feel good about what we're putting on our plates. Packaging. Yes, selecting the right packaging is a crucial decision that ensures their protection during transport and storage. And several factors influence this choice. Delicate fruits like berries or stone fruits require more cushioning and support compared to hardier options like apples or oranges. Similarly, fruits destined for local markets can travel in simple containers, while those traveling long distances require more robust packaging solutions. Perhaps most importantly, the desired shelf life plays a role. Packaging that slows down the ripening process becomes essential for fruits that need to stay fresh for extended periods. Cardboard boxes with ventilation holes are a popular choice for short distance journeys, offering basic protection and air circulation. However, for delicate fruits or those traveling long distances, there's something called CA containers that take center stage. CA containers mean controlled atmosphere storage containers. And these technologically advanced containers regulate the levels of oxygen and carbon dioxide within the packaging. And this effectively manipulates the atmosphere to slow down the fruit's natural ripening process. And because of this extends shelf life, and it ensures that the fruit arrives at its destination in optimal condition, absolutely ready to absolutely delight consumers. So that's going to bring us to the end of today's very educational video. Let us know your thoughts on it by commenting down below. And do you know about any other new methods which can help farmers? Of course, apart from the scarecrow man that's too old, but hey, you seem young and intelligent, and intelligent people like you would never miss the opportunity to subscribe to our channel. Make sure you do that. Press the bell icon to allow for notifications, and you will always stay connected for more great videos from us. We sincerely appreciate you spending time with us on today's journey, and we look forward to catching up with you in our next amazing content for you. Have a great day, keep exploring, and thank you for watching.